dive into why you should not hold your follow through. If you've ever been around the game of basketball at all, you've probably heard a coach or a parent or just anybody instructing a player to always hold their follow through on their shot.
But you really want to hold your follow through.
Hold your follow through every single time.
Your follow through. That's why you hold.
When it comes to holding your follow through, the truth is that it depends. It depends from shot to shot whether or not you should hold your follow through or not. So sometimes holding the follow through does give you a better chance to make the shot. But then there are other times where holding the follow through actually gives you a worse chance of making the shot. And in those cases, actually not holding the follow through and pulling that follow through back actually gives you a better chance of making that shot. So let me explain. For every shot we take in the game of basketball, our job is to create power with our bodies and then transfer that power to the ball in order to get the ball from here to the middle of the basket. Now there are two sources of power that our body uses to get the ball from here to the basket, and those sources are one, our leg power, and then two, our arm power. So in every shot in basketball, the leg power comes first, right, because we bend our knees first, and then once the leg power is over, our knees have basically come all the way straight, then second comes the arm power, right? So leg power comes first, and then arm power comes second. Arm power finishes off the shot. So everyone's arm power, depending on their strength, their size, where they hold the ball, etc., everyone's arm power is going to differ from player to player, okay? It's going to be unique to your own person. So hypothetically, let's just say my arm power that I use on my normal shot, okay, is 50 units of arm power, okay, hypothetically. Now let's also hypothetically say that on a three-point shot, 100 units of power total is required to get the ball from here to the middle of the rim. So for me personally, when I'm shooting this three-point shot, I should try to produce exactly 50 units of leg power, and then if I do that, I can just flick my normal 50 units of arm power, and the ball should go directly in the middle of the basket. Now, the truth is, when you produce the exact amount of leg power that you think you need, it does not matter what we do with our follow-through, okay? You could hold it forever, you could pull it down, it doesn't matter.
But what happens naturally for basketball players when they're in this situation where they feel like they've used the perfect amount of leg power for a shot is they'll just naturally hold that follow through for a split second, and then right when their feet hit the ground, they'll just naturally kind of let that follow through come down and swing back behind their body.
That's what most follow throughs look like when players feel like they use the proper amount of leg power. Here are some examples of Trae Young when he feels like he's used the proper amount of leg power on a shot.
So as you'll see watching these clips, these are shots where Trae Young feels like it's going in, the follow through will stick for a split second, and then when he hits the ground, the follow through will kind of sway behind his body. Most of these makes are going to be perfect swishes, again because the shot feels so good coming off his hand. And when it feels good like this is how the follow through typically reacts for any basketball player.
It's a three.
Now the question becomes, what do you do with your follow through when it doesn't feel good coming out of your hands? Or in other words, when you feel like you're going to miss the shot either short or long as you release it. In these situations, what you do with your follow through is very important in determining whether or not you make the shot. So going back to our hypothetical situation where we need 50 units of leg power to make the shot, let's say we accidentally use 55 units of leg power instead of 50. Doing this is going to give us the feeling as we release the ball that we're probably going to miss the shot long past our intended target of the middle of the rim. When this happens, we need to compensate for the 55 units of leg power by only producing 45 units of arm power. And that is when our follow through comes into play.
So now I'm going to shoot a shot where I purposely use too much leg power. Okay, so I'm purposely going to get down low, use too much leg power, all right, and I'm going to let my arms naturally feel that right when I'm about here in my shot. And my arms are just going to kind of naturally not finish that follow through as hard, all right, and I'm just going to pull back that follow through right when I let it go, okay, in order to try to take some power off the shot. So I'm going to get really low down here. All right, pull back that follow through, because if I were to hold that follow through and stick it for a second or two, maybe like I normally do, then that shot right there would have definitely missed long. But because I took some power off my arm power by not finishing that follow through all the way and just pulling that follow through back, All right, that allowed me to make that shot. So whenever you're right here in your shot and you feel like you've accidentally might have used too much leg power, that is when it is bad for you to hold your follow through. That is when you need to not hold your follow through in order to give yourself a chance to actually make the shot. Now we're going to look at some examples of when this happens to Trae Young.
So pay attention to Trae's follow through right here. Watch how it snaps back right on the release. Again, he's doing this because he feels like as he's going up for the shot that the shot is going to be long because he used a little too much leg power on accident.
Unit together. Trae Young.
Here's a closer look. You can see right as the follow through occurs, it immediately snaps back. This is Trae trying to take some power off of the shot at the last second so that the shot does not miss long like it does right there. Now obviously you still miss those. Sometimes it is a little bit too late to make the adjustment with the follow through, but there are going to be times like this where the adjustment at the last second does result in the shot being made. Now a lot of these shots are indeed going to be long makes. They sneak in right in the back of the rim because the pulling back of the follow through only takes an inch or two off the shot, but that's just enough to change the result from a long miss to a long make.
First half, Young, quick trigger.
So back to our hypothetical situation where we need 50 units of leg power. What if we don't use enough leg power? What if we only use 45 units of leg power instead of 50? It means we need to add arm power to our shot to compensate for the lack of leg power. So what do we do with our follow through to add this arm power?
So now I'm going to shoot a shot where I purposely don't use enough leg power, all right, and my arms are going to try to make up for that by adding a little extra arm power at the end of the shot. And what that looks like is really flicking that follow through extra hard at the very end and really sticking that follow through up, again, trying to put a couple inches of extra power onto the shot. Okay, if I were to flick my arm as normal right there, then that shot would have definitely missed short. But because I didn't have enough leg power on it, I really needed to flick harder and really hold that follow through. Again, that's a situation where we 100% do want to hold our follow through up nice and long to try to put more power onto the shot and give us the best chance to make it. Now let's take a look at some examples of Trae Young when this happens to him.
So pay attention to his follow through. Notice how even after his feet hit the ground, he's still holding that follow through up in the air because he knows he hasn't used quite enough leg power on the shot. So he's trying to compensate for that by adding some extra arm power so that the shot does not miss short like it does here.
They kick to Young, clean three.
Now on those shots, obviously he wasn't able to add enough inches onto the shot to make it, but there are going to be times where those couple inches are going to make the difference. Notice how these makes, instead of being long makes that barely sneak in the back of the rim, they're going to be short makes that barely sneak over the front of the rim.
Trae with a long three. Hits it.
And the truth is, those misjudgments of leg power, when we make mistakes on how much leg power to use, those instances are going to happen a lot, especially when we're shooting from random distances on the court, like here or a couple steps behind the three-point line. Like, we don't have that leg power memorized as well as we do when we're standing right here on the three-point line. And plus, when you factor in different variables that affect the power on the shot, such as if you're running into the shot or the direction you're running into the shot, like, that all has an effect on how much leg power we need to produce into the shot. So the point is, these misjudgments of leg power are going to happen a lot, okay? And that is when we need to adjust our follow-through. And if you think that this is something that only happens to Trae Young, let's take a look at a couple other players around the NBA.
First, we'll stick with the Hawks and look at Bogey. The first shot is going to be a perfect make where you hold your follow through a split second and naturally bring it down. Next, pull back follow through, long miss. Next, hold follow through, short miss. Next, pull back follow through, long make. And then hold follow through, short make. So we'll go through that series for every player. Next is CJ McCollum. First, normal follow through. Then pull back follow through, long miss. Next, hold follow through, very short miss. Next, pull back follow through, long make. Next, hold follow through, short make. Next, let's look at Luka. First, normal follow through, perfect amount of leg power. Then pull back follow through, long miss. Hold follow through, short miss. Pull back follow through, long make. and then hold, follow through, short make, just over the front of the rim, swish. And then last but not least, Steph Curry. All right, regular follow through, lands on the ground, pulls it down. Next, pull back follow through, long miss. Next, hold follow through, short miss. Next, pull back follow through, long make. And then hold follow through, short make. Here's even an example of me playing at Wofford, pulling back my follow through at the last second, resulting in a long make.
So now, hopefully you understand why coaches should not be telling players to hold their follow through on their shot. I think this phrase, hold your follow through, is said with good intention, and that intention is to get players to flick their hand right at the target. And this is true. You do want to flick, in particular, these two fingers right at the target every single time, regardless of what you do with your follow through. And that is why I tell players to just focus on flicking those two fingers at the target and not to hold their follow through every time.